All right, guys, I've come into work on a Saturday and my wife is going to kill me. What I have behind me is kicking my butt. Okay, it's a 2005 Buick with the 3800 in it. What's going on with this vehicle is once it starts warming up, it just starts misfiring. It's running really rich, and honestly, I'm not 100% sure what's wrong with it. Now, I did find a bad O2 and I replaced it. Also, these things have something called ICP, Ignition Control Module, or ICM. Yeah, it's called an ICM. And they have a 12x signal and a 3x signal going to the crank sensor. Okay, from experience, these do go bad. So they're kind of hard to test because the way it works is the crank sensor sends the signal to the ICM, and then the ICM reports to the engine computer, and then it synchronizes your firing events. Well, I had one that I made a bad call on here a few months ago. I scoped the ICM input from the crank sensor, and it was dropped. The signal was dropping out. I think it was either on the 3X. It was a 6-volt pull down, and it would just drop out. So I was like, it's a bad crank sensor. It wasn't. It was a bad ICM. So the ICM voltage was actually dropping out instead of the crank sensor. So you could see how that one was hard to diagnose, but I did end up fixing that one. So I thought for sure this was the same problem because they're known for that. So I was in a hurry this week and I didn't really have time to pull out the scope, and it was exhibiting some of the same symptoms, and I did what I hate to do. I threw an ICM at it. At my expense, of course, and it didn't fix it. But the good thing is I have a good ICM that I'm keeping now that I paid $200 for. So anyway, okay, that didn't fix it. It did have a bad O2. I didn't record this. This is, like I said, the next day. I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with this thing now for 2 days. And the O2 was just so lazy. It was literally just not even responding sometimes. Yeah, there's other variables involved in that, but I replaced the O2 and it didn't help either, but I didn't feel bad about replacing it because it was just literally, I could tell a difference when I put the new O2 in. It ran a lot better. So here I am on a Saturday with my old sweatshirt on, and I was going through some Scanner Danner, his book that his diagnostic book. I went through his school years ago, and this is any of y'all that do drivability, it's called, here it is. It's his engine performance, and I run across, you could see how serious I am about learning. I have so many notes in this thing, and it is running rich. So let me explain. I'll probably start this up and it'll run fine for a while, but then it just starts running horrible. And when it gets in, I'm pretty sure when it gets in closed loop, it starts running horrible. When I was messing with it yesterday, it's kind of hectic because I was dealing with broken studs in that ram on the exhaust, and that was making me mad. So I wanted to come in while it's clear. But anyway, this book is worth its weight in gold. So I needed to refer back to some things. And actually, this is some reasons it can be running rich, higher than normal fuel pressure, ruptured diaphragm in the fuel pressure regulator, which is this thing. But usually if they have a ruptured diaphragm, there'll be fuel that comes out of here. So I didn't see any earlier, so I don't think it has a ruptured diaphragm. Also, evap purge problems. I checked it and it's not at all. It's not stuck open, so that's not the problem. ECT sensor problems. Now, I'm going to check this today. It looked like it was reading normal, but they got something called substituted values. I'll get into that more later. 700 RPM, it was about 3.5, 4 grams per second, which a 3.8 liter, that's about right. So whatever your actual, how can I say this? Whatever liter engine it is, let's say it's a 5 liter, you should have at hot idle, if your engine's hot, you should have around 5 grams per second. This one seemed right to me. Now, I don't know if the EGR valve is stuck open, but it did start up at first, like on a cold start. So that's probably something I should look more into. Contaminated fuel. I think he's been dealing with this a while. Leaking head gasket. I don't know if it has that. And contaminated O2. I fixed that if it was contaminated because it did act crazy. Or a jump timing chain, which I don't think that's it because, like I said, it will run normal. Anyway, this is some of the things that will cause it to run rich. But what I wanted to test next, so I always want to test the next easiest thing, is I want to see if this engine control temperature, the ECT, is reading normally. There's no codes in this thing. There's no codes. So I don't know why. I did not unplug the battery. I don't know. But I'm going to show you how this thing runs. But I want to show you one more thing. We're going to check this ECT. And in this book, in Scanner Danner's book, it shows us a good way of checking it with a scan tool, which I already knew, but I wanted to refresh. With a cold engine, it should be within 5 degrees of the intake air temperature sensor. So let's do that. This is the intake air temperature sensor. I'm not sure where I don't work on these 3800s a whole lot. And this has a brand new, like I said, ignition control module. It sits underneath these coil packs. These coil packs also look generic. They came like that. I made sure all the plug wires are where they're supposed to be. Of course, I have a fuel pressure gauge on it, and it seemed fine, but we can check that again. So I got generic data pulled up because I just want to see. So short-term trim, bank 1. I don't need that. I need long-term trim. Let's pull the absolute intake manifold pressure, oxygen sensor, and where is my ECT, my temperature sensor? Here it is. So let's just start simple. 46 degrees. Oh, I forgot to pull up my intake air temp sensor. Does it have it? Yes. And they're within 5 degrees of each other. Let's warm this thing up. We can watch the short term and long term. And this is the upstream oxygen sensor. Again, there's just one. And it'll run fine for a while, but this thing, literally, it will not run hardly at all after a while. I mean, it acts crazy. I mean, it bucks, and then you can't even start it. It's almost like, I don't know. So I'll show you what it's doing. Let's start it up. Don't even want to start up. Now, I mean, it doesn't even want to start. It's misfiring really bad. Now this is like a new symptom. What in the world? I don't know. It didn't even do that yesterday. It actually ran. I mean, I had it running pretty good. I changed out the O2. It was idling pretty good. To me, it acts like a crank sensor problem. I'm going to have to scope it. I mean, that's just all there is to it. We got to break out the scope. Play it. Let's try to get this thing running and see what these signals look like from the sensors. See, it's running. Let's go look at the data before it dies. All my signals look fine. So I don't think it's my cam or crank signals. I don't know. It's running now. Fuel pressure is at about 60. This is what it was doing the other day. So I'm trying to get into data before it dies out again. But it did this on a cold startup this morning. Output voltage, short-term trim, long-term trim, intake manifold pressure, inject coolant temperature. Look at this, it's taken away. Look how much fuel it's taken away. Minus 25. 7 grams per second. The engine coolant seems about normal. It's in closed loop. See, now it's running fairly well. The engine RPMs is about right. The grams per second look a little bit, I don't know. It's the RPM probably should be down a little bit. It just died. I mean, you could see the mass airflow was going crazy with the engine off. I unplugged it. Let's see what it does. It's running great. And our cam and crank look good. Let's see what it does. Let's try to clear out the engine. The trims are straightening up. Oh. My goodness. I think we found it. I hope we caught that. That mass airflow was going crazy. Oxygen sensor switching good. It's running a little lean like it should be because I think there's some vacuum leaks. Well, it's not run this good in a while. Can't believe I caught that mass airflow just going crazy like that. Well, I guess now we can just test it and plug up the mass airflow and see if it acts crazy again. Here we go. So I plugged it in. Now it's subtracting all kinds of fuel. Like it's really running rich. I don't think 6 grams per second is normal for 700 RPM. That's high. That's reading high. So it's calculating for more fuel than it should. And it's just going to keep running rich. Look how it's stuck rich. Let's unplug it. Look how rich. It's just pegged out rich. That's as rich as it can go. I'm going to unplug it. It's just going to choke out the engine eventually. Now watch it correct, because it's going to start using other parameters. See, it's already getting better. We barely caught it. It just went crazy. Something internally is wrong with it. I don't know. But I ordered a Hitachi one, which is a good brand. And we'll put it on. But this one was tough because of the way, there was a lot more I wish I could have showed you. But we're not done yet. I won't have the sensor till Monday. Like I said, today's Saturday, but I'm gonna drive this thing a little bit. I'll see you all Monday. All right, we're back, and I have a new Hitachi sensor for this 05 Buick. And here it is, Hitachi, made in Japan. And I already took these screws out. They're these special, I don't know what they call them, security screws. They got like a hole in the middle, so you got to use a bit like this. It's like a Torx bit with a hole. You can get them at any parts store. So let's put it in. You tighten those up. All right, we're running, and I'm warming it up, and it looks like we're in closed loop, but the O2 looks a lot better. The trims look great. I'll be honest, I don't work on a lot of 3800s anymore. They're kind of, some of you older guys probably think I'm an idiot, but I'm used to the newer stuff. All right, I'm driving it. It's driving really smooth, and this car is most definitely fixed. I mean, it had the worst rough idle. I'll be honest, this one was tough for me, and the reason why is because there was more than one problem. And one, it had a bad oxygen sensor, and then the MAF sensor would only act up internally. It wasn't like a dirty MAF. It would over-report. Like at 700 RPM, it was reading 6 grams per second. That's over-reporting. Usually if a MAF sensor is dirty, they'll under-report. So the Hitachi MAF sensor fixed it, and I'm just so glad because this customer is a really nice guy, and I'm glad to get his car back on the road. So I appreciate y'all watching. Catch you on the next one.